Competing with other women does make you ugly in character, but it is not your fault, and let's talk about why. And I'm also barefaced if you can't tell, so we're gonna be doing our makeup together while we discuss why you shouldn't compete with other women and how to stop doing it. And why you do it to begin with, okay? Let's get started. I'm so excited. Biologically, women needed to compete in order to achieve like reproductive success, similar to female animals, you'll see. The pressure literally came from the need to survive, so there's nobody to blame here. Truly, it's just natural selection. But the time has come when this is no longer necessary, so why do we continue to do it? And I think the most honest answer is that we don't know any other way. Like, we know no other way. This is just how things have been for so long that this is normal now. First of all, why should we stop? If you go back to ancient scriptures, or if you read like ancient texts and things like that, or if you follow your own religion back to its like original roots, there's a lot of ancient scriptures that mention that sisterhood is like a pathway to healing. Way back when, to be in communion with other women meant building real community, fostering like real growth amongst each other, and sharing vulnerabilities amongst each other too. I don't know about you, but that idea sounded absolutely beautiful to me. Honestly, this realization was really liberating too, because I don't think in our nature, and this is just my opinion, like in our core, we are made, my cat wants to be let out. Yeah, this realization was really beautiful to me because I honestly believe that to our core, we aren't actually competitive. Like, I think as a human being, our most natural instinct is to connect amongst each other rather than compete. Think of it like this, I wrote this down. I think if we didn't come into this world needing to survive and just existed as we were, our most natural instinct as any human being would be to connect. That's what I meant. So how do we stop doing this, and how has this like affected me in my personal life? Number one, acknowledge the root of where it's coming from. When you experience an insecurity and you're around another woman, what does this say about where you lack in your life, and how can you change that? I think looking to other women, not through the eyes of envy, but through the eyes of admiration and inspiration, like getting inspired by whatever it is that they have that you want to also achieve. Because when you see someone achieve something and you're feeling envious about it, I think the shift that needs to be made is you asking yourself, okay, wait a second. This is something that obviously I desire, and maybe you didn't know that you had that desire up until this point. Whether it was like your friend just bought a boat and now you're like, what the hell, this girl just bought a boat, but maybe I want a boat too. But you can see that it's already been done. So what does that mean about you? That means that you can also do it too. It's a matter of asking yourself, what is it that I truly want in my own life? I feel like those kinds of things and those kinds of realizations, and then taking a step back to like ask yourself these questions, bring about so much awareness and wisdom if you can really look into it. You can trace this back to underlying traumas or beliefs that you held about yourself. And the way to do this is to be, number two, completely honest with yourself. When you catch yourself resenting other women, shift into asking yourself which part of yourself feels unseen or maybe not validated enough. Because this is something that I used to really struggle with as well. I think the worst thing that you can do is, if you want to lie to somebody else, I'm not justifying that, but if you want to lie to somebody else, then okay, fine, you're lying to somebody else. But if you lie to yourself, I just feel like you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you're somebody who truly wants to grow. Being completely honest with yourself creates so many opportunities for growth, because then you can see where you're falling short and actually fix it. Like, if you don't want to do it publicly because you're too embarrassed or whatever, you care what other people think about you, then that's fine. But just be honest with yourself. If you catch yourself in the midst of being envious of somebody, or even when it comes to any emotion at all, just be entirely vulnerable with yourself and say, okay, what is this saying about me in this moment? And how can I take steps to improve it? You don't have to judge yourself for it. Just try and become aware of it, because awareness is the way that you make things happen, and the way that you change things around to begin with, right? Notice the parts of you that don't feel validated enough, and where did that come from? Did somebody tell you that those emotions or those feelings were invalid, or the thing that you desired in life wasn't valid? The fact that you maybe didn't want to make millions and billions of dollars or go to university or do any of that stuff. You took a different path, and maybe somebody judged you for it, and now you're sitting here judging yourself for the same thing. I don't know why that example came into my head, but it did. Number three, be open instead of trying to be elusive when making women friends. This is a really interesting one that I learned about this year, and I honestly feel like this shift has made a difference in my life, because I don't think that I really noticed that I was doing it, and I don't think a lot of women notice that they're doing it anyway. But it's essentially that I heard about this theory that if you're familiar with blackhead energy and golden retriever energy, they look very different in the dating dynamic, right? One person is the black cat, very elusive, very mysterious, and the other person is a golden retriever. And please don't take these terms too literally. They're just terms to describe, like, you know, they could be feminine, masculine, or like different terms to describe things of that category. So I don't take it literally, but I did take it literally when it came to this example, which is that someone said, never ever take black hat energy when you're making woman friends. Because when you have this intimidating RBF energy, it is very off-putting as a woman on the other end, on the other side, because when you're smiling at a woman and when you're more engaging with a woman and you're more like upbeat, they're more likely to obviously welcome you in. Don't stare at any of my makeup tools. Okay, this is my beauty blender that's literally hanging on for its dear life. But honestly, if you want to look at it, just look at it, okay? But I warned you. I stopped feeling the need to prove myself in a way, because I feel like when you're in your black hat energy, you're trying to, like, it may not be obvious, but I just feel like if you're more in the elusive side, you're kind of a little bit more inward with yourself, and that's totally fine. But not when it comes to making women friends. Like, I feel like being so much more open and bubbly and just like my authentic self with my women friends, with anybody in general, but especially with meeting new women and new girls, it's just a better way to do it. And I feel like you are more likely to attract high quality friends rather than somebody who likes you for somebody that you're obviously pretending to be, who you're not actually. You never want to be liked for who you're not. You want to be liked for who you are. Number 4, cultivate authentic confidence within yourself. In other words, know yourself and who you are, because this creates foundational confidence. Foundational confidence is really important because as much as I believe that you can fake it till you make it, absolutely. I have done it. I've seen many people do it, and it works because nobody can tell whether or not you are faking it. You know, it just looks like, okay, if you look confident, then you are confident. But I do think that when it comes to being intimidated by any woman that you're around or anybody in general, it's because you lack a little bit of stability or structure within knowing yourself, you know, because when you know your strengths and you know who you are and you know what you're good at, then you build foundational confidence because you're like, oh wait, this is my strength and this is where I thrive and that's beautiful about me. And this is my weakness, because having self-awareness about your weaknesses really, really helps too, like a lot. Identifying where your strengths lie will definitely build unshakable confidence. And it's not like you're gonna walk around acting like you're the best person ever and like with so much high superiority when you're talking to other women, right? It's just that you know where your strengths lie and you want to connect with another woman who potentially also knows where her strengths lie, and then maybe you can create something together. Says me as I'm knocking over all my stuff. Number 5, shift from feeling resentful to feeling inspired. I already touched on this, but like really try to get inspired by these women or by these people that you're supposedly admiring so much. Is get inspired by them. Like, either you can sit there, you can be resentful and you can be like, why is this not my life? Understand that making friends with people is truly the way to go in the world of anything, in the world of business, in the world of creating, marketing, anything. Like, networking is so important. A lot of the women that I meet now are so like business oriented, I've noticed, because I feel like I've become that way too, in the sense that there's a goal in mind and we're trying to take the steps to reach that goal. And so if I ever have anything in my life that I don't have a mirror with me. How am I going to curl these lashes? Oh, no, I lied. I do. If I ever have any questions about it, I know who to go to and I'm not afraid to ask because I made friends with those women, you know? So if you see that a woman has accomplished something, applaud that and know that if somebody has done it, it means that there's living proof that it can be done, which means that you can also do it too. This is the one makeup look that I get so many questions about. And it's the one that takes me the least amount of time. Like, if I wasn't filming, it would take me more than half less the time. Does that make sense? I think it does. Focus on building community because that's what's going to be most worth it in the long run. If you guys aren't interested and you don't know where to start in terms of building community amongst other women, I just started my online community. We do live calls on there. You get access to exclusive meditations and content, as well as us just like interacting with each other, talking about weekly things. Wanted to add a bunch of different like learning styles, you know, different ways that people learn on there through videos or like worksheets or whatever it is that you feel like where you learn best, like whatever your strength is. For me, I'm very visual. But I also love to do like worksheets and things like that. I did a lot of those on my journey as well. So I created one of my own, and I'm also going to be doing a lot more. So if that interests you, you can get a 7-day free trial. I will leave the link below if you are interested again. If you're not, then it's okay. But community is really important amongst women. I think that when you build sisterhood from a good foundation, it's like a game changer. Gotta take a pause to line my lips, you know. Number 6, prioritize connection over isolation. I think that the pattern that I noticed is a lot of younger women, and I used to do this too, so I'm not pointing fingers, I used to be here too, so I totally understand, is like the need to isolate, and the only thing that you're chasing after is male validation. But you realize very quickly when you enter your 20s that isn't really how you want to be for the rest of your life. As much as that's what we were taught, I think that we weren't taught that we should work together, and it isn't a common thing amongst the community of women, at least in my experience. We were taught that if anything, division makes us stronger for some reason, but it obviously doesn't. And that's been proven time and time again in history. So let's finally learn our lesson, okay? I certainly want to, because that's what I've been prioritizing this year. This is my lip liner, by the way. So tiny. I used to really want to isolate myself when I was a teenager because I felt like that was like the one thing that was going to somehow get me what I wanted, which I was totally wrong about it. So don't make the same mistake I did. Like, you eventually arrive at that conclusion where you're like, we're stronger together, and division only makes both of us unhappy. So like nobody wins that way at the end of the day, right? Finish this up. I think I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's find out. I never do this, but for the sake of today's video, I'm gonna add some glitter to my inner eye corners. I just have been putting myself out there so much this year, and like I'll randomly, if I see a beautiful woman or like someone who I feel like their vibe is so interesting, I'll just like go up to them and start talking to them. Especially if someone's like reading a book, and then I'll just be like, oh, this is my opportunity to go and talk to that stranger. And it sounds really daunting when I'm talking about it, like, oh my goodness, my social anxiety could never. Talking from somebody who had literally the worst social anxiety, like speaking from experience, I totally understand why that would be like a scary idea. But if you don't do it, then you don't build connections, you don't network enough, you don't open up the possibility to create strong female bonds. Like, you don't do that stuff. Those opportunities completely go out the window if you're just like, if you don't push yourself to go outside. Does that look? No. Ooh, very glitzy glam. Hold on, this is like looking crazy now. Gonna blend it through. I'm not gonna do anything more because that's pretty much all I do. I think I'm done. Get yourself some texture spray, so you can feel like gorgeous and amazing, you know. And that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will leave all the products that I use linked below. And also, again, if you're interested in joining the online community, it is there for you. But anyways, I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.